Hey everyone, my name is Nathan Payne. Welcome back to another episode of Blu Ocean Crypto. So I think it's finally time that I cover off the grid on this channel. I've actually been following this thing with our research team for many years. So I want to go into a lot of what we already know. I'm going to talk about their raise. I'm going to talk about their node sale. I'm going to talk about VC sentiment when it comes to this game, chain that they're using. I'm going to cover a fair bit, but I want to do this mostly as an introduction video. There's going to be some gameplay clips and stuff from the menus that I'll show you guys throughout this video, but I'm not going to just kind of show a whole bunch of me in a match. You know, you guys can find tons of that online already. I want to actually go into Gunzilla, the company in the game, get you guys kind of up to speed, especially if this is something you've been sleeping on. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Okay, so the important thing to understand about this is it's a 150 player PvPvE. What does that mean, right? So it's battle royale style, 150 players. There's an extraction type element. That's where the PvE part comes in, right? So it's really interesting. I'm generally not a huge fan of battle royale games. There's been some good ones, but I felt like it's an oversaturated market generally. However, for Web3, it makes sense, and we've kind of been waiting for one to do it right. Now, let's go into a little bit of details here just on the website, and then I'll jump over, and I've got a lot of other stuff I want to talk to you. So, of course, it's on PS5, Xbox, and the Epic Store. I just played on the PC, but the exciting part about this is a Web3 game that we have on console right now. Now, how all the compliance and all of that works is kind of a big rabbit hole, so I'm going to probably save that for another video, but the short story of it is they did it. So this is something that's obviously massive for Web3 adoption. They don't talk about NFTs in the same way that other games do. They actually kind of generally have avoided that. They use an analogy talking about serialized magic cards, which is basically just a way for someone to explain NFTs without talking about NFTs. That's the easiest way to put it. So, like I said, the PvP they're talking about with the 150 Royale, the PvE, you know, there's narrative campaign. I mean, part of the Battle Royale part feels like PvE because you can go around and do stuff without, you know, having to act with PvP, but they're talking about more how it's going to be the campaign. And their videos and trailers and stuff are super high quality, which is really awesome to see. I highly recommend you go watch one if you haven't. This is kind of the main map right now, Teardrop Island. It takes a long time to learn it, but it's the same as, you know, any kind of battle royale. And then there's other ones, and it says that there's +7 more to come. This is just one that people are spending most of their time on right now. This is what makes it unique. So unlike any other battle royale, you have limbs that can be attached and replaced, and they have different abilities. I actually thought this was a really cool spin to the genre. As far as I know, no one else has done this before. So it does bring something fresh to the genre. We're not just playing the same shoot 'em up battle royale game that everyone thinks. You know, there is something unique about this game, and it adds to the narrative a fair bit, which is kind of cool. Now, of course, they've got the whole marketplace going, you know, with all kinds of stuff right now. Now, their token's not launched, of course, but you can get weapons. You can do all of these kind of adjustments. Now, I will admit, as a new player, it's a little difficult because when you first get in, you're going to get wrecked. People who've been playing this for a while, who've upgraded their weapons, who've done these different things, it's going to be a little tough. So just know that in the beginning, until you get your gear built up, it is going to feel like you're just getting destroyed. Now, of course, if you're really good at shooters, you know how to do headshots, that will obviously help, but just be prepared for that. There's all kinds of stuff with the equipment too, like tons of different weapons, the customizability, and this is really where the NFT marketplace comes in. Definitely go watch this video if you haven't yet. There's also a gameplay walkthrough, and they recently launched a tutorial in the game, which is really cool. That kind of just gets you all set up with everything. So let's go past this because the website was kind of just the basics I wanted to cover. The studio behind it is Gunzilla, and I've known about these guys for 4 or 5 years now, at least, like during the last bull run. And these are some industry leaders that have gotten together. I mean, they've done some major titles before. So even just the lineup of the team is really impressive. We just go down here. So you can see Vlad Korov, Alex Zoll, go through this. If you guys just don't know some of their background, it's definitely worth it. I'm not going to take too much time going. Now, of course, their team is actually a lot bigger than this. This is just kind of the main ones that they're featuring. They also have a really interesting career section where they show that they're looking for a lot of people. They're even helping relocate people to move to their offices. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Now, there's a lot of great sentiment around Gunzilla, and this is what I want to spend a little bit of time talking about. So if you just take a look at, some of the initial information, they talk about, hey, they raised 30 million, led by Avalanche and Coin Fund, but there's actually a little bit more to it. So if you come over here on ICO drops, we can actually see it shows that 101 million was raised in 2 rounds. Now it's kind of interesting because it shows here funding round was 46 million, seed round 25 million. That obviously doesn't match up. There's some discrepancies here. However, if you come down, you can kind of see some of the key investors here. Coinbase Ventures, for example, Emka Brands. A lot of these I recognize, maybe you guys don't. Shima Capital, they're in like every play to earn game or Web3 game. I really like those guys. Blizzard, which was kind of interesting to see. So they have a lot of KuCoin. I mean, the list goes on. VanEck, right? There's a lot. Now, this was just with their funding. They also sold nodes. So with the nodes, it's said that they've raised over 100 million through the sale of validator nodes. Now, this is where some people get confusing because they're like, well, did they raise the 100 million or did they just sell the nodes? And it's a bit of both, right? So they raised and they've also sold nodes, but I think it's kind of safe to say that they hit the 100 million mark through a combination of all of this. You can kind of tell there's some discrepancy here. But I know a lot of people in the play to earn industry who heavily invested in these nodes many, many years ago. And right now, when you talk to VCs, they're basically waiting to invest in any kind of new projects until Gunzilla launches its token, because they feel like, and this is just the general sentiment, which is kind of a really interesting narrative, they feel like they're waiting for Gunzilla to show the rest of the industry how to do it right. That's how much hype and conviction is behind this game right now. I've never seen anything like this in the industry except, and I don't like making this comparison because there's too many differences, but it's the best one we have in the industry, except when we were in the last bull run with Axie Infinity. But the thing is, that was already operating. People were already earning from it. People are feeling this way just because of how Gunzilla's doing off the grid. They also did a lot of big streamers. They paid a lot of money to bring in big influencers. Ninja even played the game, so I can tell that they're doing things right. So if this is a game that you have not played yet, I highly recommend you at least jump in, give it a whirl, because from everyone's expectations, this is effectively going to be one of the biggest token launches ever in GameFi as far as hype, conviction, and just onboarding more Web2 people. So I'm curious, is there anything really important that you guys felt I missed or that you want to mention about this game? What's your experience been like? How are you finding it? Leave a comment down below. And I just want to say a big thanks for everyone who subscribed to the channel. It really makes a big difference. Do me a favor and smash that like button, and we'll see y'all in the next video. Cheers.